Well, look, Hamas leader says openly that if they could, they will do it again. Hezbollah was planning to do something similar from the north. That was supposed to take place on October 7. In fact, on October 7, what was supposed to take place is a double attack, one from the south, one of the north, where Hezbollah was supposed to carry out the attack from the north. It did not carry out such an attack from the north. But definitely, I mean, following October 7, there is an understanding on the Israeli side that, we are dealing with an enemy that is acting according codes of medieval times. And it's an enemy that is willing to sacrifice its own brothers and sisters, which of course make the challenge even bigger. So I would say definitely we take that very seriously. And that will have ramifications because up until October 7, the Israeli governments were very hesitant and reluctant to take a military move as a preemptive strike for different reasons. From now on, I would say that once an Israeli government will notice there is an evolving threat on its border, I would expect Israel to swiftly move militarily to eliminate and eradicate this threat. This is, I think, one of the major changes following October 7. Apparently, there has been some sort of miscommunication, sort of speaking, between Hamas and Hezbollah. Hamas apparently notified Hezbollah with the attack very shortly before the attack, because Hamas did not trust. Hamas basically assumed that Hezbollah is very breached, and Hamas was concerned about possible leaking from Hezbollah to Israel, to the Israeli intelligence services. In the first hours, apparently, after the attack, there has been some vagueness or haze. It wasn't really clear what's going on. And apparently that was also something that the Hezbollah was kind of like in the fog, sort of speaking, or in the mist, doesn't really know exactly what's going on. During those critical hours, Israel was actually recruiting all its reserve forces and moving swiftly to a high alert situation. And apparently those couple of hours were critical in the decision or the fact that in the end of the day, Hezbollah did not join October 7 attack. Look, the Hezbollah has been saying for many years that it intends to occupy parts of the western Galilee, the Galilee area in the north part of Israel, and it was a serious threat. It wasn't baseless. Actually, the Hezbollah built its capacities to that end, among other things. The Radwan force, the elite force of the Hezbollah, was supposed to be the spearhead of something like that, is supposed to be a spirit. So currently what we see on the Hezbollah is indeed sustaining a massive damage across the board. But I would assume that the Israeli military leadership and establishment are still operating under the assumption that the Hezbollah might try to launch a ground attack on Israeli northern communities. And so I think that this is a scenario that is not off the table with all the ramifications that comes along with it. But the Hezbollah has been very clearly saying for many years now, at least 15 years, that its intention is in the next war to occupy parts of the Galil. And perhaps now, following the very painful, substantial damage that the Hezbollah sustained in the last couple of weeks, particularly, and the total loss of its deterrence image and the fact that he's today marked across the region, Hezbollah may try even desperately to execute something like that to restore its declining deterrence and to restore its pride. And so I would definitely take something like that very seriously.
Actually, I think that Hamas took the idea from Hezbollah because they have tunnels and they have special forces, and the idea is to enter to our villages in the north and occupy them and take hundreds of hostages, and then it will be a big chaos. So that's why we need a death zone between the two countries. and we have to make sure that there is no active tunnels between the two countries. I mean, think about people that spending so much money just to find a way to enter and to occupy and to kill. This is crazy people. This is not a normal people. Look what happened in Gaza. They destroyed the life in Gaza. All the 2 million people from Gaza became hostages of the Hamas organization. This is a Nazi organization, and most of them afraid from this organization. Okay, even today we are bringing humanitarian aid every day, food, water, everything, and the Hamas takes this and he sell it to the poor people in Gaza. Okay, we have to find a way that the Hamas will not have any direct connection to the food and to the water that we are bringing to Gaza. Okay, but I can tell you for sure we will win in Gaza and we will win in Lebanon, and I can tell you that Lebanon will be better after this war for most of the Lebanese people, not the Shia. That it's a small group in Lebanon and part of the Hezbollah terror organization.